let's continue animating the claws. Show our controls and move on to the mid right claw. So again, we can start by wiping out our keys on 30 and 50. And we can adjust our range, breaking this down into sections so it doesn't seem too overwhelming for us. But it shouldn't, because this is really basically, there isn't much to this at all. On 12, we'll press Shift-D to lock in the claw. Seem to already be planted on the floor. We'll go to the high point, which is at about frame 16. Rotate the claw in. And on 19, when it plants, we'll rotate it out. Press Shift-E on 23. Claw reaches its high point at 25, so we can rotate it in. And plants on 27. Okay, now we'll add our hold at 34. On 38, we'll want to have the claw rotate in. And we're kind of using extreme poses here, going from one extreme to the other, so that we'll have this movement noticeable. So on 51, we'll press Shift-D. 54, go to the other extreme, rotating it in. And on 57, we'll have it rotate out. Now we can adjust our range. 59, we'll lock our pose. At about 62, rotate the claw in. 64, we'll have it plant. 66, we'll lock that in place. And at 68, rotate it in. And plants on 70. It remains planted till frame 106, Shift-D. Now the insect starts to charge in. The high point here is 109. That's where we'll want to have this claw rotate in. And then 111, have it rotate up. .114, lock our pose. 116, rotate in. And one frame after, where it stomps down, we want to rotate it back up. Just about finished, and we'll even see if we can move on to another claw. So that's 128. Rotating it, not too much, because notice it's kind of going through the ground. So really small step. 129, we'll rotate it up. And then looks like it just takes one more step. So on 157, Shift D. On about 160, we'll rotate it in. And then it plants on 162. And that should be the last step this takes. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and start working on that back leg. Right to the beginning. Again, we'll delete these first keys. I'll even double click to make sure there's no more keys. Double click the range and check that. And framing the control, we'll begin. So on frame 10, we'll want to fix this pose up, rotating the claw. Then it starts to move after frame 11. On frame 11, press Shift D. Gets to its high point at 15. We'll rotate it in. Lands on 18. Looks like we can probably raise the foot up here, so we can quickly do that. Go into the graph editor, go into the Translate Y, selecting our keys on 18 and 21, and just holding Shift and middle mouse button clicking and dragging up to move these keys upward. Move it down just a little bit more. There we go. And we'll go back to the rotation controller. 21, we'll hold that pose. 24, rotate it in. Now frame it again. 26, it plants. We'll add our hold at 33. Rotate the object in. And it plants at 39. Again, we can take our control and start moving that up from frames 39 to 50. And just take care of it now. And then if we need to do any more of that, we can wait till at about the last lesson when we double check everything. So on 50, set our key. We'll want to rotate the claw in at 54 and then have it plant on 56. Can adjust our range, and at 60, Shift E. We'll rotate the claw in at 62, and then it plants at 63. Great. Press Shift D. It might even help to look at the control to see when its high point is, at the position control that is. So that's 67. We'll go there, go back to our rotation control, rotate the claw in, and plants one frame after. Can go to our position control, 72. We see that the hold should be placed there, so we'll go. The high point is 74 and the plant 76. So 74, we can rotate the claw in. .76 is the plant. We want to try to be aware of some major twisting in the claws as we're rotating them. Let's go to our position control. It's planted at 105, so we'll set our key there for the rotation. Lifts up to its height at 108. Go back to our rotate control. Have it rotate in. And then plants at 110. We add our hold at 113. It lifts up at 115. Maybe not rotating it as far down so it doesn't go through the floor. And then plants one frame after. So now we have it planting until 125, lifts up 128, drops 130. So 125, we'll press Shift D. 128, we'll rotate it in, rotate it down. And 130, we'll have it plant. Great. And the leg is moving back here, so you'd probably want to rotate it so that it's pointing a little bit more at the body. Not totally there. And let's see, 156. We're just about finished with this. We'll lock in the pose. That was 158 where it's up and 160 where it plants. Selecting our rotation control. That's 158. We rotate it back, and 160 where it plants. Maybe even changing this pose, rotating it a little bit more in on 158. And that should be it. Okay, great. So that's it for the right side. Let's start working on the left side in the next lesson.